Okay, in this video, we are going to do an independent sample t-test using the college student survey. So this is a little bit harder just because there's more information, but it is not conceptually harder than the other videos and examples that I showed you. So we're going to be looking at to what degree does your self-esteem or self-image overlap with the image of the university. See if this response, so how people feel about this, if that differs by school level, meaning if you're an undergraduate, do you feel like that's a tighter connection versus if you are a master's or doc student, do you maybe not feel that the self-image overlaps, or is it vice versa? Is it that you're choosing this as in your graduate studies because your image is what the university is, or is that an undergrad thing? Or maybe there's no difference, we'll see. So the first thing I wanna do is sort the data. Make sure you check my data has headers, and I'm gonna sort it by school level. So I have all of the undergrads together and all of the graduate and doc students together. Now I'm going to highlight all of the ones, which is a lot. This is why this gets harder. So sorry, I went way too far. So I'm going to highlight all of my ones, and I'm going to go all the way over here so that all of my ones are highlighted, and I'm just going to make them, I don't know, orange. Okay, now that I have that highlighted, I am also going to highlight this B column because this is the survey item that I want to see if it differs by school level. So I'm just going to hit Control B and make sure all of these are bolded. All that is really doing is to help me visualize what I'm putting in and making sure that I'm not accidentally copying this information when I want to be copying this information. So I have two different options. So let's start with our cheat sheet. So I'm going to jump over to my independent sample t-test cheat sheet. So what I can do here is put in group 1 and group 2. Our two groups here are undergraduates and graduates or doc students. So I'm going to come back over here, and I have already made everything orange for 1 and bold over here. So I'm going to highlight all of my bolded orange data. So this is why it's a little bit harder, just because there's more stuff. So I just have to scroll longer. Otherwise, it's not harder. So I'm going to copy and put all of these in group 1. Then I'm going to go back over here, and group 2 is not highlighted orange. So these are all of my 2s, but I don't want to copy the 2s. I want to copy their response on this item. So I'm just going to go through here, and I'm going to highlight all of my bold non-orange data. Copy that and put that in my group 2. So jumping over here, I can see that the value is quite a bit below 0.05. So these groups are significantly different than each other. Now my other option is to let Excel help me with this. So instead, what I'm going to do is go to Data, Data Analysis, and I'm going to scroll down to To Sample, assuming unequal variance. Now here's where I'm going to have to highlight my two groups again. So I'm just going to start with group 2 since I'm already at the bottom. I'm scrolling and getting all of my bold non-orange. And now I'm going to grab all of my bold orange all the way up here. Don't include the heading. I don't have labels, so I don't want to check that. And I'm going to let it put it in a new workbook. And I'm going to come over here, and I can see my mean between the two, my two different groups. And the first one that I put in was grad and doc students. The second one that I put in was undergrad. So if you put it in the opposite way, just make note of that. You might have put the orange in first. That would be undergrad. I put in the docs first. And so between these two mean scores, I can see that my undergrad are scoring higher than my grad. I can see that it is significant. So right here, that matches our p-value that we had in our other sheet. And this is our t-value and some other stuff. But it is definitely a significant difference between the two groups. And in this case, undergraduates are scoring higher than our grads.